your company, how you think cubing maybe helps what you did in software. When did you start coding? How old were you when you started coding?
Well, 16. I was 16,
You were
and
16.
I was, yes, the same time I learned how to cube. It's
Okay.
basically I would cube really changed my life because when I was starting cubing, when I learned how to fix the cube, a couple days after I was introduced to a seminar where they had this robot that fixed the Rubiks Cube,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, Shawn could fix the Rubiks Cube, and so they had me versus the robot to
Um,
fix it. Yeah, and then when the robot fixed it, I ended up beating the robot by 2 seconds.
oh, wow.
And everybody was like this and that, and people was impressed, and people introduced me to a company named STEM Guyana, and
Okay.
this when they teach me programming, and this is how I end up starting my career.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that
That's good. Is that
so
where you met
actually,
Bobby?
hmm?
Is that where you met Bobby Samuels?
Yeah, this is where I met Bobby Samuels.
Okay,
Well, I
cool.
met him in STEM, yes.
You met him in San Diego. Okay, perfect. Yeah, man, we'll do a more in-depth video. Hey, DJ, how you doing? You there, DJ?
Good,
Hey, how you doing today?
good.
Good? Let's see your face. We can't see you. We can see the fan. I got a couple other people I taught. We'll do this. All right, DJ. So can you turn it? Yeah, there you go. That's a little better. There you go. All right. So Shawn, this is DJ. DJ, this is Shawn. Shawn's actually in Guyana, and that's where I'm from originally, and my parents are from. It's a country in the top of South America, next to Brazil. And Shawn basically started last week, so he's just learning the cross. I'm teaching him the cross.
Nice.
And Miley, his mom helps tutor Miley. She's a school teacher, so she helps tutor Miley, and she watches her during the day. So that's how we know them. So Shawn,
Nice.
not Shawn, but DJ's learning the cross. So after, I'm gonna do a little intro with you. DJ, how long are you around? I know your mom mentioned you have to go.
Hmm?
Your mom mentioned you have to go early. What time do you have to go?
Let me check what time.
Okay.
2:35.
Huh? 2:35. Okay. All right. So what we'll do, I'll just kind of introduce you here, and then we'll do a little bit, but not a whole lot today, and we'll pick up another day. Okay. So you can go to your hockey, and then after he runs off, so you'll only be here maybe about 5-10 minutes or so, and then after you leave, Shawn, I'll do kind of a more in-depth video with you. We'll talk about cubing and all that kind of stuff and software.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, and then so what we're gonna do, Shawn. DJ, I want you to watch Shawn cube. So Shawn is a speed cuber. He's been doing this for about 2 years. How old are you? 18 now, Shawn?
Yes, 8 yes.
18. And
Mhm.
he can solve the cube really fast. So he's going to show us right now, okay?
All right. I'll just mix it up.
He's mixing it up right now.
All right. So, planning it out. All
Now
right.
he's studying how he's going to do it. He's planning it.
Nice.
Set the timer.
All right, Mark. Get set. Cool. Um, 19 seconds.
19 seconds. 19 seconds.
Yeah.
So he does the whole thing in 19 seconds.
What about you?
Oh, I'm slow. My best speed is probably about a minute 30 seconds, I think. I'm just doing, Shawn uses a newer method, a better, a faster method than I do. I'm just learning that method. It's called F2L. So I do it in about a minute 30 seconds or so. Miley, you guys claim Miley did it in 59 seconds. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm not surprised. I've seen her do a minute 15. But we're learning F2L, and then we'll get faster after we do F2L. But I'm not crazy about spending that much time cubing. I think your time is much better spent coding. I like cubing to introduce people into STEM and technology and problem solving and get you thinking about puzzles. But it has a point of diminishing returns. I mean, you spend, 500 hours practicing cubing, you'd be much better off spending 500 hours learning React Native, or Flutter or whatever it is you're doing. Because code, you can leverage that really. You have a much higher chance of leveraging that into something that's profitable. You can turn it into
that's true.
Turn to software, stuff like that. But the nice thing about cubing is that it's a very techy community. So if you're in that cubing community, you're going to be around a lot of other scientists, other computer engineers, software engineers, chemical engineers, biochemical, geneticists, things like that. So it's helpful to be in the community and kind of see what's going on in the community in general. So I like that part of it. But I think it has a point of diminishing returns as far as the time that's involved in it. So I'm recording this call, so we might as well get into it a little bit with you. So Shawn, you tell us how you got into cubing. I know you've told me before personally, but tell us for the recording how you got into cubing. What it's done for you. Give us all that stuff.
All right. So, basically, I had a school in Guyana. I got a school named St. Joseph High, which is basically in high school, and we used to play table tennis, and as we played table tennis, we'd see people fixing the Rubik's Cube because a lady used to sell Rubik's Cube, and the other boy used to fix it, and he was teasing me that I can't meet at the point where I can fix Rubik's Cube, and I ended up taking the challenge here. So I was like, so we ended up buying a Rubik's Cube. And them times I never had internet or anything here. I wasn't, financially stable and those. So I had to learn it by myself, and that was, really difficult. So I ended up see what he did. So he basically what he used to do, he used to solve a cross first, and then he used to solve the edges, and then he used to solve the yellow part, and then he ended up fix the whole cube. And from then I had to find out a way of to do the same thing but by myself, and I ended up learning it. And after learning it, 2 days after, I ended up getting a little much faster, and then in a week after a week, I was introduced to a seminar, Star Computers, where they was introducing individuals to robotics and so on, and STEM had a slight role into that seminar.
Okay.
So basically, when they show us everything at the ending part, they had a demo where they had a robot that fixed the Rubik's Cube, and everybody was like, "Shawn could fix the Rubik's Cube, Shawn could fix the Rubik's Cube." And I was nervous because I thought that because you remember it was a challenge, me versus the robot, and I thought I would lose. So yeah, when the robot solved the Rubik's Cube, they solved it at a good time, and they also I had to go solve. When I solved the Rubik's Cube too, I ended up beat the robot by 2 seconds, and everybody was impressed. And I was in the spotlight, and so everybody, the people in the organization want to invest in me, so they end up calling me into STEM, where I end up was introduced to programming and learning how to use Java and so on. And this is how my coding career started. Then I became a developer, then I ended up app developer, then I become an AI engineer. And
Nice, nice.
Yes.
Now, when you were beating the robot, what was your time then? What was your time and what was the robot's time?
I think it was around less than 2 minutes. The robot was saying it, like 1 minute 57 seconds, I think, or somewhere around that, and then 1 minute 55 seconds. It was right around there. I can't remember, but
Okay,
it
okay.
was
So you were
around there.
doing, you must have been doing the beginner's method, right?
Yes, yes, I was using the beginner's method.
So this is before F2L and OLL and the other out.
Yeah,
Okay.
but after a while, I realized that I could actually solve the Rubik's Cube with the beginner's method in less than 40 seconds.
Okay, less than 40 seconds. Because your
Yes.
fingers move really fast. I can't, it's probably age, but I can't get my fingers to move that fast. I would like to get it to go that fast with the beginner's method. Maybe I probably just need to keep practicing, but
Yes, it's not only about how fast you can spin. It's about predicting the next move, like
okay,
seeing the next thing before it even happened. And my dream was to become sub 5
okay,
someday in the future. So yes, I'm working towards that
okay. So you
on my
want
free times.
to be sub 5. Okay, I dig it. Now, when you said you learned it, did you learn it without, how did you learn F2L? Well, you said you saw someone else do it. So you didn't learn it from videos or
Yeah, that was the beginner's method. I learned the beginner's method by myself, but however, as time passed by, I end up see that the F2L was a faster way of fixing because people solving it really, really quick with the F2L. So I end up going to YouTube tutorial and I end up piece by piece learning it, and yeah, I end up implementing it and continuing practicing and get faster times.
gotcha. That's how you got faster. Okay, excellent. And then tell us a little bit about your coding career. How long you've been doing it? What did you start out coding? Um, and then what kind of projects? I know you're working on AI right now with Clink. What kind of projects are you working on now? So tell us how you move from knowing no software to having a company and what you're doing now.
Well, essentially, as I started at STEM, I was pushed to learn Java. By that time, Java was like a complex language. It wasn't beginners friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the first thing I ever coded up in my life was a calculator, basic calculator,
Mm-hmm.
which is very simple. And I end up, started learning how to do HTML, CSS, and those basic stuff. And then I ended up going to Python and JavaScript and all these JavaScript frameworks. So I basically started small and continue learning step by step. And if I want to learn a language, I would actually build something in that language to learn it, not like actually going through courses and things. Because courses to me would take a longer time for I learn the language rather than just building by yourself and fixing these small bugs.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's how I learned too. I started coding when I was 8. I had an uncle who was Guyanese as well, and we took a trip down to Florida when I was about 8 years old, and he had this it was called a Texas Instrument 99 4A computer, really old computer. I think it had 8K of RAM or something like that. Oh, this is old. And but I saw it, and he had this little stick man moving on the screen that I think he helped me code it, and I was hooked, and they got me a computer, and this was a long time ago. So then there was no internet, there was none of that. So I would have to go to the library and I would get these books, and the books would have they would have games in it. So you type in the code into the computer, you save it on a tape drive. There wasn't a flash drive or hard drive or anything like that. You'd save it on a tape drive, you type in your program, you save it, and then you'd run the games or whatever. And that's how I learned to code, just learning to write other people's game. I started out writing, just copying and typing in games into the computer. And then after that, I did a couple projects on my own. I did a little math game for a computer, a science project or something like that I did. And then in high school, I started doing Linux. I had access to a Unix system there. and I learned how to do Unix and VI and all that user admin type stuff, and just messing around with the internet. Before there was the internet, so before there were browsers and things like that, I was learning the code stuff. So kind of similar paths, but no, it's excellent, and that's what I like. I like that intersection between cubing and software, and I think it's really important for people to hit that and get there. And there's a lot of overlap in the logic behind it and solving a puzzle, and you know, cubing is obviously they're different, but there's a lot of overlap. But what it does to me, it particularly in young children, when you're talking 4, 5, 6, 7, it gets them going out the gate into having appreciation for solving problems and appreciation for puzzles. And you really change the trajectory of a kid's life. Just like that, cubing changed your life because you were cubing, then you did the robotics, and it's just like that. Except what I'm trying to do, I have this organization called cubeUP that we're starting, cubeUP Solutions. But what we're trying to do is get to kids very early on and start helping to change their lives from a very early age. So 5, 6, 7 years old, teach them how to solve Rubik's cubes. The other thing I'm going to do with my daughter, we're doing Code Monkey, so I'm teaching her how to code. And then I want to do, I think it's important to have a good memory. I'm going to start teaching them how to memorize a deck of cards. So you do memory tricks, and people do competitions with that too. How fast can you memorize a deck of cards? And you memorize all the decks of the cards. So that's something else that I want to add, because I think the other thing that happens is when kids learn it really young, because you learn things younger that you learn older. You just can't. After you hit 25 or so, you're not going to learn to code as well as you can at 25 as if you started at 6 or 8. So things like the logic behind coding and debugging and problem solving, or memory, you start memorizing decks of cards. You build those neurons in your brain at such a young age, and you have this skill set that you can acquire that you can't possibly acquire later on. So the time when people have the most potential is when they're young. And that's when people are ignoring them. You know, they're running outside. Run outside, play, do whatever, but don't play video games all day. And that's what a lot of kids are doing. They're playing video games all day. Learn to make a video game. Don't sit around and just waste your time away playing video games all day, because it's pointless. That time between, basically between birth and 18, that's your time to accumulate skills, to learn as many new things as you can. Learn how to speak correctly, learn how to write, learn how to solve problems, learn to debug Java programs, learn to cube. All these activities that you can participate in that will ultimately lead to you having a much more fruitful future. And if we can get more kids on that path earlier, like you and I, they will come out at 18, 19 years old with a career. I mean, I went to school, I dropped out of college, I was working, but I was coding at 8. I dropped out of school, I started a company, I started another company. I mean, I didn't need college to make money. I didn't need college to do that, because I knew how to code. And I could go out and get a job anywhere and start my own company. And, I did that. Starting a business, that's a whole different challenge, because it's I read something one time where there are 3 different types of problems. There's simple, complicated, and complex problems. And starting a business is a complex problem. Learning to code is a complicated problem, right? It's complicated, but you go through a certain recipe, you can learn to do it. And then starting a business and making it successful, that's another layer of problems and unknowns that you're trying to solve. Really good article about it. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you one day.
All right.
Really good article. But listen, thanks for your time. I'm glad we had a chance to do the interview with you. I'll have you on board for other stuff. I'm also trying to get people who, one of my plans is maybe to have people in Guyana learn to cube and then have a teaching, a virtual teaching company where we get, 20, 30 people in Guyana
Yes.
and they're teaching people to cube all over the world. They get to make money off of it. And there are a lot of people here in the States that it would allow them to afford a one-on-one tutor to learn how to cube. Whereas in most people, that doesn't even exist. The idea of a cubing tutor, I'm sure it exists somewhere, but it's in a very small number of people can do it. And as a concept, it doesn't exist. And then I also I teach cubing at my daughter's school. So, we have this coronavirus, so that's interrupted that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll be getting back to that soon. So I'll have you on as guest speaker. We'll talk more about cubing. I might have you help me recruit if you know other kids who know how to cube, they haven't started coding yet, bring them on board, and we'll start pushing out this group. So we'll develop the concept in Guyana as well and get more kids who are younger and teach them how to cube, because you've seen the way it changed your life. I've seen the way it's changed my life. Let's try to spread that to as many people as we can.
Definitely.
And that's the idea. Well, all right, man. Well, thanks for your time, Shawn. Oh, tell us a little bit about what you're working on now. What are your projects now? What are they doing?
Well, right now I'm working on a project named Zone, a Zone shipping company. Basically building a shipping logistic software for the company. I also, a couple of months ago, we was working on Chick-fil-A from over in America. We're building an AI software for them on Wendy's. And I also working on IDB project. Do you know about IDB?
No, I
the
haven't heard.
International Development Bank.
Okay. No.
Yeah, so right now we're creating a grievance management system for them, and I'm almost finished with most of the projects.
Okay, all right.
So
you have
yes.
any apps in the App Store yet? The Play Store, things like that? Have you done it much mobile yet?
Well, when I create apps, most of my apps is not none of my apps is not on the soft in the App Store, because it's basically most of the apps that I built with my team, not with my team, with our team. There's basically company stuff.
Gotcha. So it's
like,
business apps that are for internal use, not for
internal use. Yes,
that makes sense. Now, what language do you like to code in?
Python.
Python.
Yes.
Is the go-to language. Okay.
Python and JavaScript. Python and TypeScript.
And then, what were you doing for KFC? The AI for KFC. What does that do? And
basically, with the ordering system, basically is a QSR.
Okay.
Like, you see, you would go through a drive-through and ask, like, I want 3 burgers with this and with some chips and and drinks. Basically, the AI would actually interpret the sentence and pick up the relevant information and do the direct order.
Nice.
So
now, was that through Clink? Because I know they do a lot of, so they do
it's through Clink.
Of AI type stuff. Because I followed him. I just saw a video presentation that what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name.
Jason Mars.
Jason Mars?
Yes, he was the CEO, but he stepped out the other day. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And now he's in Town.
Gotcha. Nice. All right. Well, listen, man. Congratulations again on your early success, and I look forward to working with you so we can try to recruit and help other kids have the same kind of success. Because this is what it's about. This is freedom. There's a lot of places around the world where particularly Black people are struggling, and a lot of it is what I want to contribute to is trying to re-engineer the culture so that we can focus on tech and STEM, because that's the answer. I can't imagine an easier way to get to a certain level of success than learning how to code. It's cheap. It's one of the cheapest things you can do. You don't need a lot of technology. The price for computers have dropped a lot. You basically need the internet and a computer, and get off the video game console. You know, and that's all you need, and you can get going with it. So.
In my life, I never had a console in my life.
Yeah, and
I
good.
couldn't afford it.
Yeah, well, that's even better.
Yes. Yes. So
couldn't afford it. So yeah, but it's good stuff, man. Any questions from you? I know I've been doing a lot of the talking, that kind of thing. Any questions?
well, I actually don't have any question, but I just like thank you for the opportunity, and this is about it. I don't have any questions.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we'll bring you on again, and we'll do some more of these. It's inspirational. You're one of the fastest cubers I know personally. I mean, I don't know a lot of speed cubers, so when I find people, I bring them on. I haven't looked, that hasn't been one of my goals necessarily.
Yeah.
I just bring them on. Hey, DJ, sorry, DJ, I'm just kind of completely slamming you, but I wanted to get this in. You about to roll out? Okay, all right. Tell your mom I said thank you. We'll catch up this week when I stop by. Hey, how you doing? We'll catch up this week when I stop by, and we'll do a makeup class, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye, Shonda. Bye, DJ. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, I'll see you, Shawn. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.